my name is Kate. Welcome to Share a Story. I'm going to be telling you the next part of the Untold Stories of a Water Dragon by Carmen Kardashian. As the evening was approaching, Nessie and Tipsy parted ways until the following day. While Nessie returned to her cave at the bottom of the loch, Tipsy went to his usual apple buffet, which was open to him all night long. He had his own hidden entrance. The day's sunshine turned to rain, but Tipsy was happy staying in the barn, day and night. In the mornings, he would stay hidden in the rooftop and watch how men and their machines were crushing apples, especially the fermented ones. He would watch how the apple's pulp was squeezed until no more juice came out, and then left to dry overnight. After dusk, when all the men had left, Tipsy would fly down to collect the drying pulp and hide it between the wooden beams of the roof. He was making provisions for when the time came to return to Transylvania. The weather was not improving, so Tipsy knew it wouldn't be long before he would have to say goodbye to his new friends. The long journey ahead would take him over vast oceans before he could reach land, and these dry apples would keep him alive. Meanwhile, Nessie saw Kieran, Rona, Lutza, and the rest of the herd as often as possible. She shared the rest of Tipsy's gripping story with her friends, and the animals were overwhelmed by the captivating legend. By now, they had all grown very fond of the fruit bat. Days passed without any sight of Tipsy. During that time, Nessie found herself reflecting on her own life and her plans for the future. She slowly came to the conclusion that she was definitely going to go to the Black Sea, and that she would wait until spring, until the tides and winter storms were finished. Our water dragon went to find Paul to express her longing for this journey. Paul was dozing, as usual, on his favorite seaweed hammock. Paul, as you know, Tipsy has been telling me many stories about my fire dragon relatives and the land of Transylvania. Alex has a broken wing and cannot fly here, so I have made a decision. The time has come for me to explore other worldly waters, from the gripping seas to the mighty oceans. I feel ready, and I plan to go and visit him next spring. "Away from the loch! It is a dangerous world, young lady," screeched Paul. "And I am not sure you are ready for the voyage." "I will be ready by spring. You have taught me a lot since I was born. I am big enough to defend myself in case of any danger. I want to explore and discover different worlds, unseen and unknown even to you, Paul." "Those worlds may sound undeniably beautiful, but believe me, Nessie, they are brutal." "I will return, Paul, but not before I meet these fire dragon relatives of mine. Perhaps I will discover why the great tornado separated our loved ones. Someone somewhere may have the answers to all my questions. Once the loch and the rivers are free from ice next spring, I will begin my expedition. Nothing will change my mind." "Stubborn, stubborn, stubborn," exclaimed Paul in despair. He had known in his heart that this day would come, but he had hoped that a miracle would make Nessie change her mind, and she would remain on the loch's shores. Paul found himself thinking out loud, "Fat chance of that." "Remember what you always used to say to me, Paul. Keep your wits about you and use your common sense, and you will be fine." "I promise I will, Paul," Nessie reassured him. As night draped over the glen, rain continued to fall on the saturated land. Nessie was sitting, invisible to the human eye, behind her favorite rock. She was listening to the pouring rain, lost in her visions of everything Tipsy had shared with her. Sleep was not on her mind. Back at the farm, after midnight, something extraordinary took place. Unbeknown to Nessie or any underwater creatures, Kiri gave birth to 5 adorable puppies. Kieran was there during the birth, relating Tipsy's stories to distract Kiri from the discomfort and the pain of labor. After the birth of all the pups, Kieran very proudly barked 5 times. Upon hearing the barks, the farmer ran to the collies, not knowing what had happened. Seeing the endearing puppies, he turned to Kieran. "Well done, my boy, and you, sweet lass." The farmer laughed, stroking the heads of his beloved dogs. "These are 5 healthy-looking broods. For the next couple of weeks or so, you can stay here and look after the farm animals, Kieran. The sheep can graze around the farm acreages, and so can the cattle. This lovely collie lass needs a rest after such a long and busy night," he continued in his husky voice. Kieran barked as if he understood everything and agreed with his master. With Kiri weakened by the birth of her puppies, Kieran saved his share of the best cuts of meat and the juiciest bones that the farmer gave him for her to eat later. "Kiri, what names should we give them?" whispered Kieran gently. "Well, we have 3 boys and 2 girls. Let's call the girls Maga, after Nessie's mummy, and Sarah. I was thinking of naming one of the boys Cool, after Nessie's dad, and the other 2, how about Calm and Keen?" answered Kiri, smiling. "I love those names. Now, try to get some sleep, my dear, to get your strength back." Kieran spoke softly. With those words, Kieran licked his partner's head and his puppies, one by one, and fell asleep. At the crack of dawn, even though the rain had stopped, the sun was still blocked by impenetrable dark clouds. Nessie swam to the edge of the water, waiting for her friends. She had only had a few hours' nap. Tipsy was the first to arrive, greeting the water dragon with another tasty apple in his small but very strong claws. "Tipsy, it is so good to see you, my friend. I have some great news. I have decided that next spring, when the ice melts, I will make that long journey to the Black Sea. I don't know how long it will take or how hazardous the trip will be, but I hope everything Paul has taught me about the menace of the world outside this Scottish loch will keep me safe." "Wow, that's fantastic, Nessie. I can't wait to share the news with Kieran, Rona, and Lutza. They should be here soon. And will you please tell Alex that I am thrilled to accept his invitation?" "Of course I will. On the way back, I will stop on the shorelines of the Black Sea to notify Anne the albatross to watch out for your arrival and then to inform me," said a happy Tipsy. "Any advice you have for me, my friend?" "Ask for directions when in doubt. The waterways should bring you to the Danube River in no time. Follow its course, as it will take you to the Black Sea." "I am so grateful to you. Thank you so much for these directions. Hopefully I will reach the coast of this famous Black Sea." "I have no doubt you will. Now, I am off to check I have everything ready for my journey. Nessie, time waits for no one. And it can't be stopped either. Any day could be my final feast, especially if the climate remains so wet. The next time I return, it will be to say goodbye." As Tipsy flew away, Nessie started dreaming about the long and exciting journey she was ready to take in the spring. Dusk had settled over the highlands. Rain started to fall yet again, and it carried on all through the night. With the thunder rumbling and torrents pouring, the animals in the forest found a safe retreat. Some under the dense canopy of the tree branches, others in the deep bunkers and burrows they had dug themselves, and some found shelter inside tree trunks. Thank you for listening. Please come back tomorrow and find out what happens next.